outside of financial sector, I think sort of gambling is one of the key areas where obviously there's a ready provision of cash. There's a lot of sort of temptation, I think, which leads to the opportunity for people to think that they can get a benefit from within their organisation. But I don't think it's sort of limited to those industries really. What you find, I think, is that the majority of that employee crime or embezzlement comes in those situations where people are in a suitably either senior or responsible position that they can influence something in their favour. And so it's actually not limited to a couple of industries. It's really sort of across industry, and it's more driven, I think, by the nature of the opportunity that the people have within that industry. And that's what drives the likelihood, if you like, and possibly what drives the impact is the degree to which, or the size of the opportunity. So perhaps in banking and in gambling, the opportunity is bigger because the numbers that they can deal with are bigger, and those numbers are being managed and dealt with all the time. Whereas in other industries, whilst the opportunity probability might be there still, the dollar values and the volumes might get identified or noticed earlier, and therefore not have such a big impact. Well, I think the way it ties in is in relation to sort of the culture of the organisation. So, all the organisations, all the people within an organisation are effectively operating within the culture of the organisation, and that organisational culture influences the way they behave. If the organisation has a culture of high integrity and a real focus on effectively doing the right thing for their customers and things, my personal view would be that there's a greater likelihood that the people within the organisation would have a focus on doing the right thing by the organisation as well. It's where people, I think, have a level of axe to grind or some discomfort with the way the organisation operates that might just sort of tip them slightly more in favour of inappropriate behaviour. Yeah, I mean that's a difficult one. I think that organisations are always looking at their control frameworks, and by that I mean sort of their physical controls, and obviously the basic things like reconciliations and looking at who has access to cash and who has access to bank accounts and things are sort of the standard things that organisations need to do. The next thing is also then looking at how people are rewarded and making sure that there's an appropriate balance on how people are rewarded, so that people don't get rewarded for the wrong behaviours and don't try and sort of game or embezzle the organisation through adjusting the way that their performance appears. But then I think that the next piece is really, again, coming back to that cultural perspective in terms of making sure that everybody within the team, from the top down, has the same objective, has the same focus within the organisation, and perhaps something that we're not necessarily very good at, calling out where people are outliers from that, such that they're not saying they shouldn't have slightly different behaviours, but where their cultural behaviours in terms of the objectives of the organisation might vary, and just sort of saying, okay, perhaps asking the question, why is that? And so it's probably getting into slightly the more softer perspectives of managing a team, managing a business, and understanding where the things might be happening that aren't. For me, the big thing that impacts on an organisation's access to cash is the degree to which the people that they are seeking cash from have confidence in their future. So, having a really solid strategy, having thought through how you're going to execute against that strategy, being strong in terms of the management and the way you run the business, such that when you're looking to get cash, when you're looking to get funding, you can convince the people that you're talking to that your plan is executable, and that's got to be the biggest thing, really, is just saying, hey, we want you as the lender or the people that are, or the investor, we want you to have confidence in our future, and the only way you're going to get that is if you've got a believable story about how you're going to, whether it be grow or develop going forward.